Hello again, everybody. This is attorney Kevin Pritchett with another episode of the Keeping It Real, Straight Smoke Legal Podcast. In this podcast, I aim to give you the straight smoke, the real deal, about real issues that everyday people have that often get very wrong. Before we start, I have to give the legal disclaimer. This podcast is intended for general information. It is not intended to be legal, accounting, or financial advice. Should you want legal, accounting, or financial advice, please seek a licensed, experienced professional in each of those areas. All right, let's jump into it. This ongoing series I'm doing on how to own real estate the right way. It's so... people do this wrong. And I see it so often. It's so common. So I want to go over this very carefully, very thoroughly, all the different aspects of how people are getting this wrong. Last podcast episode, we talked about how to own your own personal property the correct way. Now we're going to go into how married couples or how spouses or how siblings or how any multiple people groups of people, whether it's spouses, siblings, whatever it might be, should own property. It's the same concept, but I want to reiterate it because I see this problem so often. Let me get my little clicker going the right way. All right, so the wrong way, let's review, is to own a property in your own individual name. And going on with that, because if you die, there's nobody to sign the deed. You have to go to probate. Probate is expensive, public delays. We went over that on the last podcast episode. Now, let's say you are with a spouse or siblings or any group of people. This is what I see often, and it's not entirely wrong, but it's not entirely right either, and I'll tell you why. Owning property by joint tenancy with a right of survivorship. That's what WROS stands for. Joint tenancy means that if John and Mary Smith own property, joint tenancy, right of survivorship, if John dies, Mary automatically owns the property. She can sign the deed, everything's fine. You say, well, what's the problem here, Kevin? Let's say John and Mary Smith are married, and they go on vacation together, and God forbid something happens to them both at the same time. Boom. You have the same problem you would have if there was only John Smith or Mary Smith individually owning the property. You got to go to probate. Probate's expensive, legal fees, everything's public. People can challenge it, say you owe them money, delay things. So this is not the best solution for multiple people to own real estate. Well, what is? The right way is the same way as it is when you were owning it by yourself. The John and Mary Smith Revocable Trust. Because when they both die, the trust is the owner of the property. Trusts don't die. They have trustees, as we talked about last time, who can conduct business for the trust. The trust document states what is to happen to the property. The trustee can conduct it. Probate is avoided. All right? So the take-home message from this podcast is when there's multiple people in a piece of real estate, you want those people to own it in a revocable trust. In the next podcast, we're going to talk about how you own property if it's an investment property. Note, you do not want to put investment property in a revocable trust. The next podcast, I'll go over all of those issues and reasons why. Again, you've got a choice. Now that you know what the right thing is, you can either ignore it and things never get better with neglect, or you can solve it. Down below this video, and wherever you're looking at this or seeing it, whether it's on my Facebook page or in a blog post or in this video, there's a link for you to sign up for your one-on-one consultation where you can tell me about your situation and I can tell you how to solve it. My friends, things do not get better with neglect. I've been practicing law for 37 years, and this is the biggest problem I see. Not titling real estate correctly, and then you come to me wanting me to fix it. Well, probate is about one of the only ways to fix it. Not the only way, but it's a very expensive way. Do this solution. Put the property in a proper trust, or as we'll talk about next time, in the proper entity, so you can avoid it. But my friends, the choice is up to you. Kevin Pritchett, bringing you another episode of the Keeping It Real Straight Smoke podcast. Hope this was helpful. If you need help, click the link to get a consultation down below. Until next time, Kevin Pritchett, keeping it real. Take care.